Hey everyone, it's Frank again, and this time we've got a bit of a treat in this TavernsMug best of three. Fiction versus you, so it's going to be an IVC, but it's on Stormy Isle of Dread. We almost never see this map being played, so it's nice to see it getting a little bit of love here. I love these trees and how they kind of like, they wiggle at the, like they've got like a knee joint here, like the trees have knees, kind of a situation. But yeah, Fiction throwing down his natural, throwing down a conclave and a vault right over here at the choke, and his main is mining Therium. So good to see that. We are gonna see. Oh, no. Okay. Oh my goodness, the Hexen actually took a whopping 9 points of core damage before teleporting home, and now it's still gonna be just fine. The brute pops out, gets to get a little bit of that white health. I still think, and it still bothers me, I know this is probably going to change once the new brute pops out in 0.4, that it still bugs me to no end that brutes can't fit through, where is it? Here we go. Can't fit through this light forestation. The fact that they can't fit through there, but Lancers can, like, kind of, I don't know, maybe it was intentional, maybe it wasn't, but like it kind of shoehorns, at least it shoehorns me into making Gaunts first, just because I want the health camp first, because I like passive healing. Passive healing on a high volume army is really good. And look, these brutes aren't going to be able to come over to the health camp. They can split and go in, but that's not the same, like that's just sacrificing their existing HP. Which is a bummer. Yeah, see, look. They're just going to derp out. They can't do it. Ooh, 2 slimes attacking this one Gaunt. Don't like that one. I would have thrown down an effigy. But I know I'm very, like, conservative about, like, losing units. Yeah, look! And the Gaunt dies. I probably spend too much time trying to micro around and, like, perfectly optimize each camp, though. But the early game units, like every little bit of DPS, especially when you're going after these camps, matters. Just because like the faster you get those camps, the faster you get those resources, the faster you can build tech or production or whatever. Also, waiting for radioactive blood to wear off, I think, is the move. It looks like it's gonna be fine. Skull? Skull? No skull. Alright, back over on Yu's side of the map. Looks like he's going for vectors. No surprises there. And another arc ship. This one's really interesting to me. I almost never see a secondary arc ship. I would like to see more arc ships being built that can be used as like a mobile healing platform. They're big, they're really tanky, or they're relatively tanky anyway. And they can do the Skyward Salvation thing, and they can drop power banks wherever they want if they start running low on power. All right, the Fiends do see the Vectors, so Vectors, the Vectors have been up to some nonsense apparently. Oh, that was just them getting the health camp, I guess. Oh, what is this gonna be? Do Gaunt drops? No, Gaunt drops are not gonna be good against Celestial, right? Because Gaunts get melted by Vectors, and the Harbinger's going to be extra vulnerable to Vectors. This is going to be one of the moves of all time. Oh no, but the Vectors aren't home. Oh no, taking out a bunch of taking out a bunch of prisms could be really good. He's got to make sure he's getting it done though. All right, does manage to get 1 prism. The Harbinger gets out. Oh, and they do have Plague Axes. Oh, and they spawn another Fiend. The Vectors show up, though. No, Gaunts, leave. No, it's not nearly enough Gaunts. Okay, 7 out of 8 Gaunts agree on which toothpaste to use. Harbinger decides to teleport out. Gets all the way back. Oh, there it is. 1 Prism's pretty good, though. Their Prisms are pretty expensive. Down to 2 out of 3 prisms on that array, which, you know, it doesn't seem like much. Like, oh, you lost 1 worker. And for any other race in RTS, I would agree with you, but Oh, Vector. Oh, he's just coming over to take the energy regen camp. And I always forget if energy regen affects power banks or not. If it affects power banks and arc ships. I want to say that it does. But I don't remember how to check that. Hold on. Where's... Here we go. No, that one's full. Yeah, there's nowhere to hover. There's no tooltip that'll tell you what the energy regen rate is. Unfortunately. Alright, so this is pretty well saturated. I like the double, normally I'm not a fan of static defense just because, you know, you spend money for something that can't move around and can't engage your opponent's army and can't do damage to your opponent's buildings. But, this is an exception just because of how annoying Seraphim can be. And if like, Vectors try to blink in, they'll have a harder time bursting down the Shroud Stones, which are heavy armored. And I believe their ground... Yeah. Their ground weapon does bonus to light. Not much bonus, but enough for it to matter. The Fiends are sacrificed so that the rest of the army can Metal Gear Solid stealth their way in. I like the addition of a couple of these Hellborn as well. Just to provide some of that long-range poke in case those Vectors start getting a little bit too fresh. You know what I mean? They start getting a little... Oh, and right when it finishes, too, so he's not going to be able to cancel it. Yeah, so the array finishes up and is just... Oh, yeah. Alright. Sovereign's Watch. That was... Oh, no! The Hellborn! You have to attack with the Hellborn! Alright, the Hellborn do get bubble wrapped finally, but these Archangels are going to show up and they're going to slam down right in the middle of all these, gaunts, and they turn on Avatar, and I think everything here is just dead. Archangels doing AoE damage, along with the Vectors being able to burst down lightly armored targets is really good. So was it worth it to kill a single array? I don't know that a whole lot of army actually got killed there, to be honest with you. But yeah, Fiction's going to turn around and go back home. And I think the time of... Conclave and an Iron Vault. I would have expected a couple of Twilight Spires just to get a lot of the Shadow Flyers out. The Shadow Flyers are so good, not necessarily because they'll do a lot of damage to the Archangels, but putting stacks of Corrosive Guts on an Archangel is it makes them melt in the face of just about everything. Okay, so it looks like Yu is going to use his Meteor Smash on the trees here, and I guess that's it. He just used the Meteor Smash on the trees. But it's fine, it's fine. Oh, did we already see... Yeah, I must have missed that one. A couple Archangels smashed down into the double Luminite base of Fiction, and they get away to live tell the tale. I think they're going to go back and heal up here pretty soon. Yeah, over to the Arc Ship, Arc Station, 1-2 combo. Even more Archangels out on the map. Good night. And the supplies are really telling the story here. Yu is at double the supply of Fiction at the 9-minute mark. Saying double the supply at the 4-minute mark is like, okay, you've got an extra brute or something. But yeah, at the 9-minute mark, it's kind of scarier. So many Archangels that they're gonna cause quite a few problems here. A couple Archangels there. A couple more power banks going down. Not that he needs it for the not that he actually needs it for the power, the top bar power, but just to regenerate the power on the Archangels would be really good. There we go. We're all getting topped up. And they're ready to roll. Along with the Vectors, but we don't see any aggression out of our Fiction here. Ay. Whoa. Shroudstone, Shroudstone, Shrine, Shroudstone, Shroudstone. I don't know. The Shroudstones at this point, especially against Archangels, seem like a waste of Luminite. They're just not going to get enough damage done to the... Oh no, the Archangels are going to get spotted here. Are they going to get spotted before... No, alright, so the Imps do start to evac. They start to crash down. Not many good connections, actually, for the Archangels, but they are going to start wiping out this base. As Superstone gets dropped, he's going to start trying to DPS everything down, but... Yeah, alright, one Archangel activates it activates Avatar. Oh, no, it didn't activate Avatar, but I think it was just one Archangel that got killed, and now the Shrine's got to come back online. But still, taking out that Shrine is a big deal. Vectors are going to come in and take some damage here. Yeah, Vector's not nearly as scary now that Recall doesn't have that Control Z just undo all of the damage that was just done. Oh, the Vectors do want this Harbinger though. Are they gonna come around? No! I would get out of there! Harbinger! What are you doing? Ay, ay, ay. Alright, that'll be the end of that one. Alright, the Archangels continue to fly around, but I think we kind of know what the end result of this game is going to be. These guys even... Yeah, they are upgrading to strike nodes. Oh, they were. Not anymore. Oh, sorry guys, got a text. Alright, back to the action. Archangel stomping on down the entire Infernal Ball, and yeah, now it's Fiction just down to 80 supply. Ay, ay, ay. So many Meteor Smashes. That was so many Meteor Smashes for Ethereum camp. That was a lot of... that was a lot. You know what? Instead of going over and draining the power banks, I would almost prefer them to come over to the energy regen camp and just regen that way. They're going to get quite a bit of top up from the power banks though, but yeah, what do you do? What do you do as Fiction? Like, this Shrine got taken out by just Vectors, and there's really not much. There's no good static D. Like, I don't think the Shroud Stones. I think the Super Stones are really good static D, but the fact that the Vectors can teleport out of a Wraith Stone makes me think that it's like, all right, well, the Shroud Stone itself doesn't do enough damage to be scary, and even if you pair it with a Wraith Stone, like, they can get taken down fast enough, and the Vector can teleport out of it, so the move speed debuff from the Wraith Stone really doesn't affect a whole lot. Maybe more so with other melee units, if Kree were still viable, or if Argents were still viable, but they're not. The only viable ground unit for Celestials right now is the Vector. That was actually really cool how they turned that corner. It looked really cool anyway. It's like the scales on a huge snake as it... I don't know how to describe it. It just looks cool. Alright, and here's Fiction. To his credit, he's still trying to hang tight. Boop. Oh, and that looks like Molten Touch is finished. Alright, just a couple more of those. And actually, going for a lot of Hellborn wouldn't be the worst thing on Earth. Alright, we see a lot of Archangels using their Meteor Smash. Honestly, wasting the Meteor Smash, if I'm being honest. That's, Alright, so they took out some Static D and the Shrine again, but... is it that big of a deal? I don't think so. A couple more Shroud Stones. Yeah, it's... I don't know. I just think it feels like it's not worth the energy expenditure to do all those crashes. Like, would it not be better to just land and then Meteor Smash? Well, this resource line is done. Like, Meteor Smash into these. The Shroud Stones barely do damage to Archangels, and there's so many of them that they can just DPS the Shroud Stones down. Anyway, neither here nor there. Yu is still way ahead. Completely maxed out, floating 2k, 1.3k. And looking good. Alright, we're gonna see an attempt by Fiction to retake this double Therium, but I don't think that Yu is necessarily playing with his food right now, but I think he could just end this anytime he wants to. He's being cautious, but I don't think he's being like BM about it. Ooh, this line of workers is gonna get the business. Yeah, it's a lot of Gaunts, and the Gaunts are going to be good against, yeah, look at this. There's no answer to this. Like, maybe Mass Hellborn, maybe, now that you see that the Archangels are all avatared and they're all out of energy, but even then, they can still lift off and leave. I don't know what the point of that was. Yeah, look, they're just gonna bonk their way through. Oops, all Archangels. Yeah, look. They get up, they turn around, and walk away. It really is needing that critical mass of Hellborn to just DPS everything down. That and Shadow Flyers. Shadow Flyers for the debuff, and then Hellborn to DPS them down. Because even if they're in Archangel mode, the massive reduction in armor means that they're going to be taking a lot of damage. But no, they're going to come back. They're all going to get healed up. They're all going to get recharged with the power banks. Yeah, I just don't see a world where Fiction isn't starved out. Why he didn't stay there and just kill off everything is beyond me. Maybe he was really wanting the Avatar. Maybe he's really wanting Avatar before it works, but yeah, I think it's not going to happen. Oh, bit of a counterattack here. Kind of nice. None of these Gaunts are on Shroud though, so none of these Prisms are turning into Fiends. And the Fiends getting a little bit of extra DPS out would be nice, but yeah, this is the... Oh, nice connection on the Nightfall Infestation, but the Archangels will show up, and yeah, that would have been a losing combination for the Gaunts anyway. Are the Gaunts going to see this? No, they're not, but yeah, these Prisms are just like straight up thieving the Therium from this pocket base. Oh no! Are they gonna crash down? Yeah, it's just raining Archangels at this point. There go all the Hellborn, instantly nuked. There goes, I mean, this is everything. Goodbye everything for Fiction. I honestly think that with this many Archangels, he really could just A-move. Alright, GG says Fiction, and Yu's gonna go up 1-0 in this best of 3. Alright guys, here we are in game number 2 between Fiction and Yu. The Hexen's gonna come forward, and... he doesn't see anything mining over here. Out of the Therium Purifier. I wonder if he suspects that a game is the foot. And yeah, sends a skull over to check out that there's an attempt at a hidden array happening, but it's not going to be all that hidden. So yeah, this Hexen's really got nothing to do. I would say just teleport it home, make sure it gets full on white health, and that way it can tank a little bit better when you start creeping. But it costs no energy to teleport home. I don't see the point in dragging it out, but there you go. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so we're gonna see alright, the vault, the vault conclave being built on the ramp. I don't really know that. I don't know that like blocking off ramps in SimCity is as important against a Celestial player as it is against the other two races, just because I would say that building your production structures closer to your opponent's base is more important. In fact, I would even say instead of getting a third right here, get a third like right here. and then start building production structures. Build your vaults right there, so that way when you reinforce, you're right in the Celestial player's face. That does hurt your reinforce potential, but honestly, like, keeping down their economy is the name of the game right now, I think. All right, and then I think it's going to be, yeah, basically more of the same. It's going to be vectors, and yeah, once recall comes online, yeah, instantly starts researching recall. Do we see a third array coming, though? I don't think so. But is the arc ship... No, the arc ship's building a morph core. Ooh, yellow power, though. Icky. Only temporarily. Not bad, not bad. Not bad. Alright, actually, let me see the clause here. Malevolent Chomp only does 5 damage. Range of 10 for Houndstooth. Woo! Lordy. And it's surged up, so making sure that... Oh, it got desurged, though. Man, being able to kite the Shadow Mastiffs all the way back to the Arc Ship is pretty good. Pack of Fiends running on by, and they're gonna start attacking this the array. Oh, but yeah, Sovereign's Watch activates. It's gonna throw you back down into yellow power, but that just means he's gonna have to spend 100 more or 125 more Luminite to get a power bank, and he'll be right as rain. Gaunt and Brute taking out these Shadow Massives. Get that Gaunt out of there! No! Yeah, Gaunt dies. Ay caramba. Ay ay ay. No Infest is out. I think these Gaunts are just done for, and that'll be... I don't want to say that's going to be it for Fiction, but without Infest, like, how do you... Yeah, Plague X's aren't even on the way yet. Ay, ay, ay. Already, this is looking pretty bad for Fiction. What I wouldn't mind seeing is he going to go for a drop? Oh, here we go. Alright, so the Twilight Spire is coming up, and I think it's going to be... Yeah, I think he learned from last game. It's like, okay, if I'm facing a Celestial player, they're almost forced to build air. And, I mean, Hellborn shoot up, and Shadowflyer's debuff, so let's mix peanut butter and chocolate here and make the Reese's Cup of Infernal compositions against Celestials. Not going to work there. Alright, these Trailer Park Girls are going to go around the outside. They're going to look for a third here, or a fourth rather, but they're not going to find it. But taking the health camp is going to be really good. Oh yeah, taking the health camp from an Infernal player. Ugh. Oof. Ouch. Owie. My bones. I require more calcium. Ooh, okay, Plague X is finally going to be finishing up here pretty soon. In the chat, someone's saying sim-sitting is very important for Kree. I would agree. I very much agree that sim-sitting is very important for Kree, but I just don't see people making Kree against Infernal. Like, I don't see any Celestials making Kree against Infernals anymore. Just because the Magmadons will, like, obliterate Kree, and then it just turns into Fiends. Whereas the, yeah, the Vectors just have escape potential, they have better hit and run, they're still anti-light, and they're tankier, and they can always go back, heal up, and then come back and keep fighting. I think Kree need to be... I don't think they need to be redesigned, but I think maybe... I don't know. I don't know what the solution is to make Kree more viable. Maybe give them an upgrade that gives them armor or something. The upgrades that they have already are pretty cool, but... maybe the roly-poly upgrade should be automatic. Like, it should be one of those things that they just start with. And then the tier 3 upgrade is that they get like a pounce or something, like a gap closer. Superstone's going to shoo away these vectors, as well as the Hellborn. I'm liking that there's a lot more Hellborn presence out on the map this time around from Fiction. And yeah, there we go. We see Stun Stomps coming online just in case there is a tech switch into Kree, but yeah, I don't see any creation chambers. I don't see a Guardian Nexus. I think that's just going to be yeah, I think it's just not going to happen. Yeah, and these vectors can just, like, chill out in the health camp, because They can't be caught by Infernals because Infernals are the slowest race in the game. Speaking of slow, there's a Magnodon coming out, and the Magnodon's going to do a great job at tanking vector shots. It's not really good against, like, you can't reasonably expect a Magnodon to do damage against vectors, especially because they can teleport. But being able to soak up shots while the Hellborn do damage is kind of the Magnodon's job. Alright, more vectors, more vectors. Come on, futuristic Doritos. There we go, yeah. And look, it's soaking so much damage while all these gaunts are going to be able to infest absolutely everything out there. And at least 2 vectors got hit, because we see 2 of the fiends out here. Unless that was one of the brutes that split earlier, but I don't think it is. Wait, did the Magmadon go down? It must have. I thought the vectors retreated before it went down, but maybe I was wrong. Also, I think another thing that a lot of Infernal players don't do enough is eating the fiends. The Stomp is like the best known Magnodon ability, but it's not. I think it's overlooked that a Magnodon can eat. Oh no! Archangel's crashing down into the gaunts. And these vectors are going to continue to try and kill these Hellborn. They do manage to get one of them. They're going to teleport again. No, the Weaver dies before it can even get into combat. Hellborn's going to try and do that bonus damage to this Archangel, but it's not going to be nearly enough. The Archangel's Avatar, and they're going to be able to chase down this Infernal army, I think. Yeah, the range on that wave attack is so long. I'd say just deny the cabbage. Get the cabbage to deny it from the Archangels at least. No, I guess not. Alright, so the Weaver's out, and because you know you've got Archangels, building that Shroud Highway I think would be a really good idea, just to make sure that the Weavers can get into combat a little bit faster, they can get those lashes out faster, and they can start doing that percent max health faster. Alright, we've got the Jesus House out now. Is it actually going to get used for its Fate's End laser, though? You know, I didn't mind it when it was, when it could one-shot shrines. I liked it as, like, a very Doomsday-y kind of weapon, but I want that to be, like, the furthest thing on the tech tree possible. Like, have a building that can only be built on tier 3, have the construction time be super long, and then have it be a one-time use thing on the Jesus House before it has to regenerate. Oh no, so many Archangels landing at the natural here. They take out the shrine. They're going to take out the Shroud Stones. The Shroud Stones are going to just tickle them, rather. Yeah, and there's really nothing that can be done here by Fiction, who is down by 130 supply. Oh my OMG. Alright, Archship healing up the Archangels, and they're just going to sit there and... no, are we going to see them stop? Are we going to see them fall? No, they're just going to take damage and run back and get healed. It's so insane how tanky they are. But I think there's just too many gaunts right now. Yeah. This is rough. This is just rough watching Fiction try to figure out how to, like... Alright, I know the composition is going to be exactly what it was last game. It's going to be Archangel Vector. And, I mean, Hellborn are the answer to... Hellborn and Weaver are the answer to Archangel. I just think there was so little value brought to the table by those gaunts. Like, yeah, they just get deleted. I don't know if there's much point in building them, but... Fiction's out of resources, out of army. It's just not looking good. These gaunts are just gonna get meteor smashed into the dirt. Vectors catch an unattended Hellborn by itself. Ay ay ay. But are they gonna see all these gaunts that are creeping off of Shroud. No, they're not. But the Vectors are going to jump on top of the Shrine. The Imps do try to evac, but there are a couple of Gaunts out that are going to try and defend. How effective is that defense going to be? Minimal. Yeah, 3 Vectors get hit by that Nightfall Infestation, but they can just teleport away if they need to. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what there's left to say. Fiction's been on double-digit supply now for a minute or two, while U is basically maxed out. Little blast node and a couple strike nodes over here defending the Luminite and Therium. Sovereign's Fury pops, and yeah, these Magmadons are gonna have to go find somewhere else to hang out. Archangels are gonna try and do a little bit of backdooring, but where's the where's the Shadow Flyers? Where are the Shadow Flyers? 3 Meteor Smashes is enough to wipe out the slimes. I've never considered how much math it would take to figure out, like, how many it would take, especially with, if you put Scorched Earth, the Scorched Earth upgrade. That looks like some biblically accurate horror creature when it's like all the Archangels that are stacked on each other with their wings flapping like that. Oh, and here's the cloaked Nidus Worm is out. The biblically accurate human centipede crashing on down here. Yeah, and the Archangels can just, I think they can just A-move into the main and they'll win. There's nothing here that can deal with them. Yeah, Fiction says GG, and U is going to take the series 2-0. GG's, guys.